Every morning, you take a sip of coffee, but for a man over the age of 40, it has a subtle influence on the health of your prostate, the quality of your sleep, your strength, and even your self-confidence. I would like for you to be aware of the fact that a simple powder that you can mix into the same cup can provide assistance for your prostate in a manner that many expensive medicines promise, but hardly ever deliver on. As a urologist, I am Dr. Catherine Rotker, and I have spent over 20 years listening to men tell the same narrative. They describe waking up 3, 4, or 5 times a night, experiencing that slow and annoying stream, having a continual need on every vehicle ride, and being afraid that an enlarged prostate, also known as benign prostatic hyperplasia, BPH, is taking over their lives. When this gland grows, it causes the tube that carries urine to become constricted, which prevents you from getting enough sleep, increases the likelihood of a dangerous fall, and gradually depletes your energy and testosterone levels.
Shrugging it off or suffering in quiet is not an acceptable response to the situation. In this video, I will discuss the top 8 prostate-supporting powders that you can mix into your coffee, beginning with the most potent combination and working my way down to the most effective single combination. Research has shown that the #1 entry is so effective that it works just as well as certain prescription medications for prostate relief, but without the severe side effects that are associated with such medications. I would be delighted to receive a response from you before we proceed with the list. In what years are you?
Which location are you observing from? Which of the following concerns do you have the most about the health of your prostate at the moment? Your ideas are requested to be shared in the comments section below. I have personally read each and every one of them. Let's start with number 8, which may come as a startling revelation to you. This is where we will begin with ginger. By adding this spicy root to your morning coffee, you can transform it into a daily defense mechanism for your prostate. There are 2 unique compounds found within ginger that are known as gingerols and zingerone. These compounds are responsible for ginger's effectiveness. The oxidative stress and inflammation that are present throughout your body can be reduced by these potent natural chemical substances. It is essential that this relaxing impact be produced for your prostate. It is now common knowledge that persistent low-level inflammation is a primary factor in the development of prostate irritation and edema. When the tissue continues to be inflamed, it exerts pressure on the bladder, which causes you to feel the urge to go incessantly, even when you have just finished using the restroom. These substances exert their effects by inhibiting the enzymes that are responsible for causing inflammation, so putting an immediate stop to the processes that are responsible for the growth of the prostate. Consider Richard, a patient of mine who is in his mid-50s. Richard. He came to me feeling weary because he was waking up 2 or 3 times a night with pressure and discomfort, which required him to make those excursions to the restroom, which were essential but irritating. Because of the recommendation of a friend, he began incorporating ginger powder into his morning coffee at a rate of only half a teaspoon. Eventually, after a few weeks of steady sleep, he began to sleep through the night more frequently. His lower abdomen had been experiencing a persistent feeling of pressure, but it had greatly decreased. Upon his return to the clinic for his follow-up appointment, we were both relieved to see that his PSA, which is a laboratory test for prostate strain, had returned to its previous level. You should begin with adding a modest half teaspoon of ground ginger to your coffee on a daily basis if you are interested in giving it a try. For a more uniform consistency, give it a thorough stir or combine it. If you find that the flavor is a little too intense, adding a little of honey or cinnamon can help tone it down. Ginger, in contrast to a sugary creamer, which contributes calories that are not necessary and makes inflammation worse, does not contribute any sugar or dairy and brings about significant advantages. It is a simple and natural technique to improve upon what you are presently drinking. This is the splendor of what we are doing at this very moment. Add no more medications and don't go after gimmicks. Ginger is a fantastic component for soothing the fires that are present in your prostate. However, our following item functions more like a master regulator within your body, assisting in the reconciliation of the hormones that are responsible for prostate problems. 7th on the list is cardamom, which we will now describe. It is possible that you are familiar with this as a fragrant spice that is utilized in baked goods or the odd expensive latte, but by adding just a dash of this aromatic powder to your coffee, you may transform it into a secret daily superfood that supports the prostate. Cardamom helps in a number of different ways. This is because it includes one-of-a-kind plant ingredients that assist your body in maintaining a better hormone balance, particularly the delicate link that exists between testosterone and DHT, which is the hormone that frequently causes prostate swelling. Furthermore, it facilitates the protection of prostate cells against oxidative stress, which refers to the gradual wear and tear that is brought about by inflammation and pollutants. The fact that inflammation not only causes pain in the joints, but also irritates the prostate and the bladder that is located right next to it, is something that a lot of men are unaware of. The use of cardamom helps minimize the persistent sensation of urgency that disrupts both your day and your sleep by reducing the aggravation that you are experiencing. After a close friend had a scare with prostate cancer, Alan, who had been one of my patients for a long time, came to me around the age of 60 feeling apprehensive. He desired to protect his own health by taking preventative measures that were rather little. After reading that males in certain regions of the Middle East frequently add cardamom to their coffee for the purpose of improving their health, he decided to give it a shot first thing in the morning. Within 2 to 3 weeks, he was no longer rushing to the restroom after drinking coffee as frequently as he had been. His digestion seemed to be more under control, and the bloating that he normally experienced subsided. His PSA levels were stable at his subsequent examination. There was nothing particularly noteworthy about them. Yet, he grinned and stated, "Doctor, it feels like I'm finally doing something that takes care of me." This is the unassuming power that these routines possess. Begin with a tiny amount in order to test out this very simple improvement. Not more than a pinch to a quarter of a teaspoon is required. After the coffee has been brewed, you may either stir it into your cup or mix it directly into the grinds of the coffee. The flavor is naturally smooth and somewhat sweet, and it imparts a rich Turkish coffee scent to your coffee without the use of sugar or artificial creamers. In contrast to cardamom, which functions by assisting in the regulation of your internal hormones, the sixth ingredient in our formulation functions on an even more profound level. Green tea is revered as a longevity elixir in certain regions of Asia, which is the sixth item on our list. This practice has been deeply ingrained in the culture of these regions for ages. When you combine green tea powder, also known as matcha, with your coffee, a combination that is now commonly referred to as a filthy matcha, you combine two worlds, the aggressive kick of coffee and the profound protection of one of the natural beverages that has been studied the most on the planet. It may sound strange, but an increasing number of men are engaging in this practice because the benefits for prostate health that are supported by scientific research are simply too compelling to ignore. When it comes to potency, matcha is unparalleled due to the fact that it is loaded with catechins, which are effective antioxidants. Your prostate cells are protected from inflammation and the daily wear and tear that causes the prostate to expand or become inflamed by a special compound known as EGCG. This compound helps protect your prostate cells. According to research, these substances can even limit the growth of cells that are not desirable by preventing them from receiving the nutrients that they require. At the same time, matcha provides a mild and consistent increase to one's energy levels. It is formulated with L-theanine, which, when combined with caffeine, helps to enhance concentration and alertness without causing jitters or a severe crash later on. Dan, who was 54 years old at the time, was a coffee drinker for a very long time, but he couldn't bear the taste of green tea. In light of the fact that his father had successfully fought prostate cancer, Dan was extremely driven to safeguard his own health, but he did not want to give up his daily coffee consumption. He began incorporating a half teaspoon of matcha into his morning coffee by whisking it in until it transformed into a warm green-brown mixture. The alteration took him by surprise. Through the morning, he maintained a consistent level of enthusiasm. In addition to this, he observed that he had shed a few hard-to-lose pounds around his waist. Most importantly, the results of his annual blood test showed that his PSA levels and cholesterol were absolutely stable within a reasonable range. This provided him with a great deal of peace of mind. You can give this a try by selecting a matcha powder of high quality, which is nothing more than green tea leaves that have been finely powdered. I would suggest that you start with 1/4 to 1/2 of a teaspoon, which should be blended or swirled into cold coffee. This will result in a drink that is brilliant, green in color, and has a flavor that is rich and slightly earthy, which a lot of people actually appreciate. The benefits of drinking several cups of green tea can be obtained from a single serving of this pure and unadulterated beverage, which does not contain any sugar or artificial creamers. With this technique, the protection of your health at the molecular level is the primary focus. Here we have one of the plain ground flax seeds, which comes in at number 5. There is no fancy label, and there is no excitement. It is just a small brown seed that is silently waiting to be spotted on a shelf in a grocery store. The vast majority of individuals pass right by them, not aware that this straightforward food can provide substantial protection for the prostate in males over the age of 40. Every time I see a patient, I remind them that often the tiniest decisions they make on a daily basis can have the greatest impact. Lignans and omega-3 fatty acids are the 2 essential components that make flax seeds so special. In your body, lignans perform a function similar to that of filters, attached to hormones that are in excess, and assist your system in getting rid of things that it does not want. Hormones such as DHT are responsible for the swelling of the prostate, which is why this is significant. As long as those levels remain in equilibrium, your prostate will continue to be calmer and smaller. In addition to this, the omega-3 fatty acids found in flax help reduce inflammation throughout your body, including the area around the prostate. Include the fiber, which helps to maintain healthy blood sugar levels and aids in the management of weight. In addition, you have a meal that makes your entire internal environment more stable and less prone to difficulties. Let me illustrate with an example. One of my regular patients was Greg, who was 61 years old. His public service announcement had been gradually gaining weight. Watchful waiting was the recommendation made by his urologist, which essentially meant doing nothing for the time being. The concept was not to Greg's liking. He yearned to move, even if it was just in a minor way. Consequently, he began incorporating 1 tablespoon of freshly ground flaxseed into his morning coffee and mixing it until it was completely smooth. In the subsequent several months, there were 2 changes that stood out. After he stopped reaching for sugary snacks, he lost approximately 5 pounds without making any conscious effort to do so. As soon as he arrived back to the clinic, we noticed that his PSA had reverted to normal. It was his doctor who grinned and told him to keep doing whatever it was that he was doing. Because your body is unable to break down the stiff outer shell of whole flax seeds, it is essential to always utilize ground flaxseed. Either you may purchase it already ground, or you can use a coffee grinder to grind it yourself. To your hot coffee, add approximately 1 spoonful of the mixture, and then whisk or blend it in. The flavor is subtle and nutty, and if your coffee begins to thicken as it is being prepared, this is a positive indicator. It indicates that the soluble fiber is functioning properly. Your waistline and your long-term vigor will benefit greatly from this product, which contains no added sugar and only a small number of calories. By the way, if you are finding this information to be helpful, I strongly suggest that you click the like button and subscribe to the channel. How has your path toward better health been going as of late? In the comments section below, I would be thrilled to receive a response from you. Furthermore, if you are in a position to do so, pressing the Super Thanks button allows you to directly contribute to our mission of producing additional content similar to this for you. The 4th item on our list is what we call a truly hidden gem. Blackseed, sometimes referred to as Nigella sativa or black cumin, is something that I would like to introduce to you. It has been referred to as the seed of blessing in the traditions of the Middle East and Asia for generations. I would call it something slightly different now, the seed of protection, but that's just my opinion. Nor is it mysterious or foreign in any way. It is nothing more than an age-old treatment that contemporary science is starting to validate. The strength of blackseed is derived from a powerful chemical known as thymoquinone, which is found within it, in addition to a robust combination of antioxidants. The 2 key factors that contribute to prostate problems are directly targeted by these chemicals, which are beneficial to your body. At first, they function as DHT blockers that are both natural and gentle. Make sure you keep in mind that DHT is the type of testosterone that promotes the growth of the prostate. The very hormone that is responsible for the production of DHT is inhibited by black seeds, which helps to slow down the process. The second benefit is that its antioxidants help preserve prostate cells from injury and inflammation, which ultimately results in the prostate tissue becoming more tranquil and healthy over time. A patient named Sam, who is 57 years old, comes to mind. Although he was an engineer, he preferred data over traditional cures. It was a frustrating cycle that he had been suffering with, which consisted of him needing to urinate again shortly after going, waking up in the middle of the night, and constantly feeling a dull pressure down low. In response to the recommendation made by his grandson, he began incorporating a small amount of black seed powder into his morning coffee. This amount was around 1/8 of a teaspoon. In order to counterbalance the slightly bitter flavor, he added a little of cinnamon. After some time had passed, he became aware that he was not going to the bathroom as frequently in the middle of the morning. Within a span of 2 months, he was able to sleep through the majority of the nights without any interruptions. He reported that the heaviness subsided, and he even felt as though his bladder had truly relaxed. In the future, when he heard about the study on black seeds that showed decreased levels of DHT and reduced prostate weight, he smiled and commented, "It appears that the scientific community has finally caught up with my coffee." It is recommended that you begin with a very modest amount because its flavor is characterized by a uniquely herbal and peppery flavor. A very small amount, when stirred into your coffee, is sufficient. The flavor has a hint of pepper that is light and herbal, and it goes well with strong coffee. Alternatively, you may combine it with a slight amount of honey before adding it to your cup of coffee. Both as a spice and a tonic, it has been used without risk for hundreds of years before. Consistency is the most important factor. Many men report that after using it on a daily basis for a few weeks, they begin to experience less pressure, fewer nighttime awakenings, and a flow that is calmer and more consistent. A cuisine that you might ordinarily think of as that crunchy stuff that is placed on top of salads, or something that you throw away when you carve a pumpkin, is the subject of the third item on our list. On the other hand, pumpkin seeds, whether they are powdered or in oil form, are widely considered to be among the most effective natural medicines for the prostate, and they have been used for decades in Europe. When you add them to your morning coffee, you are not preparing a beverage that is appropriate for a certain season. As a form of therapy for your prostate, you are transforming it into a discreet and daily practice. The pumpkin seeds are useful in a number of different ways. When it comes to phytosterols, beta-cytosterol stands out as a particularly noteworthy example. One of the hormones that we now know leads to the growth of the prostate is called DHT, and this molecule naturally interferes with it. After that, there is zinc. There's a good reason why your prostate has more zinc than practically any other organ in your body. The repair of tissues, the maintenance of hormone balance, and the control of inflammation are all dependent on it. If you include magnesium and antioxidants in your supplement regimen, you will have assistance that not only helps your prostate, but also your bladder and urine system. A smoother flow of pee, less frustration caused by stopping and starting, and fewer interruptions to the bathroom in the middle of the night are the results. One of my patients, George, who is 64 years old, had been experiencing an enlarged prostate, which caused him to wake up 3 or 4 times during the night. He was worn out, exhausted, and dreaded the prospect of taking additional tablets. It was revealed by a friend that in certain regions of Europe, men have relied on pumpkin seeds for urinary comfort for a very long time. While George was skeptical but hopeful, he started blending a heaping tablespoon of pulverized pumpkin seeds into his morning coffee. He also added a splash of almond milk to give the coffee a different texture. In a few weeks, his nocturnal trips to the bathroom decreased to 1, and sometimes he went without. The subsequent checkup revealed that his prostate had shrunk marginally, and he reported that his flow had become more robust. In addition, his physician observed that the severity of his symptoms had decreased. Several clinical studies provided support for this study. They discovered that using pumpkin seeds for an extended period of time alleviates symptoms of the prostate, improves flow, and performs similarly to various drugs without the negative side effects. Pumpkin seeds can be utilized in two straightforward contexts. The first step is to make a powder out of the seeds by grinding them into a fine powder and then adding roughly 1 spoonful of the powder to your hot coffee. It imparts a flavor that is nutty and toasted, and it also provides a subtle richness. Using oil extracted from pumpkin seeds is the second alternative. The creation of a silky and smooth beverage can be achieved by adding 1 to 2 teaspoons of cold-pressed oil to your cup and stirring it in. In the event that you are currently preparing bulletproof coffee using butter or MCT oil, you can substitute pumpkin seed oil for a portion of the fat. It is a more intelligent improvement. Instead of artificial creamers or sugary mixes that are quietly harmful to your health, you should consume real food that has protein, healthy fats, and minerals. The presence of pumpkin seeds serves as a reminder that prostate problems are not an unchangeable destiny. What you put into your body creates a response in it. There is no guarantee that adding 1 scoop to your coffee will make a difference overnight, but, over time, it may result in fewer sleepless nights and increased control during the day. This is our second entry, which is the Reishi mushroom. Lingji, which literally translates to the mushroom of immortality, is the name given to this mushroom in traditional Chinese clinical practice. A tonic that has been used for more than 2,000 years to assist elderly people in maintaining their strength and living longer. It seems like mushroom coffee is all of a sudden becoming popular. But what the majority of people don't realize is that the benefits of reishi go far deeper than the excitement around it. This unassuming mushroom contains numerous uncommon compounds that directly assist a man's prostate, immune system, and energy levels in ways that current science is just beginning to comprehend. Some of the bioactive chemicals, triterpenes, beta-glucans, and plant sterols that are found in reishi, such as beta-phytosterol, are responsible for its amazing ability. These naturally occurring compounds operate simultaneously on multiple fronts. The creation of DHT, which is the hormone that we know stimulates the growth of the prostate, is subtly slowed down by triterpenes. In addition to minimizing irritation in the urinary tract, the beta-glucans and antioxidants that it contains have the ability to effectively reduce inflammation and assist in the training of your immune system to respond in a more prudent manner. The preliminary findings of promising research indicate that reishi may also assist aberrant cells in self-destructing, providing a layer of long-term protection that is unmatched by the majority of natural components. I will never forget Victor, who was 70 years old and a patient of mine who had been battling with a modest enlargement of the prostate. However, the prescription he took caused him to feel exhausted and dizzy. He desired an alternative path. He was informed about reishi coffee by me. Victor began adding a teaspoon of high-quality reishi powder to his morning black coffee. He was skeptical, but open-minded about the possibility of any positive effects. After some time had passed, he became aware that his level of energy remained consistent throughout the day. It wasn't until the 3rd month that he started waking up only once during the night rather than 3 times. Because of his increased flow, that one nightly excursion did not feel as essential as it had before. At the time of his return for his checkup, his PSA number had decreased somewhat, and the results of his prostate exam appeared to be non-changing. Even his former physician, who had previously disregarded mushrooms as worthless, remarked that whatever you are doing, it is producing the desired results. If you want the best results, you should search for a reishi mushroom powder or Ganoderma lucidum extract that has a good reputation. Your hot coffee should be stirred with around half to 1 teaspoon. The heat facilitates its dissolution and creates a smooth blend, while the earthy flavor helps to mitigate the bitterness of the coffee. Depending on your preferences, you can add a splash of milk or a dash of cinnamon. Reishi, when consumed in this quantity, functions within your body as a silent maintenance crew, assisting in the management of hormone balance, reducing inflammation, and providing support for immune defenses that help maintain the health of your prostate system. More than just caffeine, your morning coffee has progressed to a much higher level. You have transformed it into a multi-tiered mechanism for supporting the prostate. Mushrooms, which enhance your immune defenses, spices that reduce inflammation, and seeds that bring hormones into balance are all examples of herbs and spices. The number 1 place, on the other hand, is designated for something particularly remarkable. It is a mixture of 2 potent natural extracts, and the clinical research that supports it is so robust that it exhibits results that are comparable to those of pharmaceutical choices. The most significant breakthrough in the process of changing your coffee into a powerful and preventative prostate treatment is presented here. I'm referring to the combination of saw palmetto and stinging nettle root in this particular instance. This golden pair symbolizes the highest level of natural support, transforming your regular cup of coffee into a genuinely powerful elixir that protects the prostate. Almost like a devoted tag team, they cooperate with one another. Saw palmetto begins its action by inhibiting the enzyme that is responsible for the conversion of testosterone into DHT. When this occurs, the major hormonal signal that tells the prostate to expand is effectively deprived of its ability to do so. Immediately after that, the stinging nettle root comes into play. It makes it considerably more difficult for the remaining DHT to attach to receptors in the prostate, which means that even the remaining hormone is unable to shout as loudly as it once did. Reducing inflammation in the tissue and relieving minor estrogen accumulation are two other ways that nettle contributes to maintaining a stable hormone balance. Nettle and saw palmetto work together as a cohesive unit to clean up the area. Saw palmetto reduces the amount of fuel, and nettle helps maintain a calm demeanor. Additionally, this combination addresses inflammation, which is frequently the underlying cause of the most severe symptoms associated with the prostate, such as a burning sensation, dribbling sensation, and the persistent desire to run to the bathroom. In this regard, nettle is beneficial since it provides gentle support to the urinary system and assists in the process of emptying your bladder more thoroughly. Saw palmetto provides an additional layer of protection by calming the tissue that has been inflamed. After the inflammation has subsided, the sense of urgency will diminish, and your body will begin to restore control. Not only is it about decreasing the size, but it is also about bringing serenity back to the place where pandemonium formerly existed. Permit me to impart the tale of Frank. The age of 68 had reached its breaking point for him. 5 trips to the restroom each night, constantly searching public locations for the restroom that is closest to them. He had become weary of taking powerful medications that caused him to feel weak and disoriented. It was advised to him by a friend that he try saw palmetto with nettle. After locating a powdered blend that was of high quality, Frank started adding a teaspoon of it to his morning coffee, along with a little bit of almond milk. Over the course of a few weeks, he became aware that he was only waking up twice during the night. By the 3rd month, he was sleeping through the night on a regular basis. Throughout the day, he saw a reduction in pressure, an increase in control, and even a slow but steady restoration of vitality and intimacy. At his follow-up appointment, his physician observed a discernible reduction in the volume of his remaining bladder, as well as a slight reduction in the size of his prostate. His score on the symptom scale improved by almost 40%, which is comparable to the effects of typical prescription medicines. Indeed, what Frank went through is consistent with the findings of the research. There have been clinical investigations that have directly compared saw palmetto and nettle combinations to the conventional drugs used to treat BPH. The majority of males had comparable enhancements, including improved flow, fewer interruptions during the night, and more comfort, all without experiencing a decrease in their energy or desire. Because of this pair deserves to be in first place. This treatment is designed to target both the hormone triggers and the inflammation that contribute to prostate problems, and it does so in a manner that is easily tolerated by men. Look for a high-quality blend that includes saw palmetto extract with stinging nettle root in order to make use of this pair of powerful ingredients. For optimal absorption, the majority of them are available in capsule form, which you can take in conjunction with your morning coffee. It is recommended that you stir around 1 teaspoon, which is approximately 300 to 500 milligrams of each extract, into your cup if you prefer powder. The flavor is subtle and earthy, and it can be readily concealed by adding a dash of spice or milk. Maintaining constancy is the true trick. Just like Frank, give it between 8 and 12 weeks. You're not looking for a quick fix, are you? Day by day, you are allowing your body to go through the process of rebalancing hormones and healing inflammation. These 2 golden pieces of evidence provide compelling evidence that you have a greater degree of control over your health than you might assume. By focusing on the underlying factors that contribute to prostate enlargement, this straightforward routine can assist you in preserving your level of comfort, your independence, and your overall quality of life for many years to come. Let's take a brief moment to go over the tremendous possibilities that we have brought up in this conversation. We began with the anti-inflammatory properties of ginger, then moved on to the hormonal equilibrium of cardamom, and finally, we moved on to the cellular armor that matcha green tea powder offers. Flaxseed, which has a fiber that brings about hormonal balance, blackseed, which has the ability to prevent DHT, and pumpkin seed, which provides important sustenance, were all discussed. The adaptability of the Reishi mushroom was investigated, and ultimately, the power of the saw palmetto and nettle combination was evaluated for its potential in the pharmaceutical industry. What these 8 additions demonstrate is that drinking coffee does not have to be a routine that is devoid of purpose. There is the potential for it to serve as a robust and adaptable basis for improved health. There is no requirement that you utilize all of the ingredients at the same time, because each one provides a different level of support. You should pick 1 or 2 that you feel are appropriate for you, and then include them into your everyday routine. Exactly like that, change starts. Easy routines that are consistent and may be easily incorporated into your life. At this point, I am quite interested in learning which of these resonates with you. Are you going to begin with something straightforward, such as ginger or flaxseed, or do you feel prepared to experiment with the golden couple? In the comments section below, I would appreciate it if you could take a moment to identify your top pick. Every single word that you share is something that I make it a point to read. In the event that you found this knowledge to be helpful, I would be extremely appreciative if you would give this video a like, and then share it with a buddy who might likewise acquire something from it. If you subscribe to Harmonic Health Seniors, you will never miss out on our recommendations that are supported by scientific research and help you take charge of your health after the age of 50. At this point in your life, your prostate should not be the factor that determines how you sleep, where you go, or how long you can go without using the restroom. Every morning, with only 1 cup, you have the ability to make a decision. The caffeine in coffee can be consumed on its own, or it can become an integral part of your daily defense. There is still control in your hands, and you are not alone. Commence with a single little adjustment. Keep your consistency. You should give your body the attention it has been requesting. You are deserving of that 1 more scoop because of your power, your freedom, and your independence.